Hi there, my name is Spencer Buja. My team and I have been working on the social recipe recommender for the CS411 class. It's a database-driven application for exploring and sharing recipes. Okay, so here's our recipe app. So first we're going to open up the app, and we're greeted with this sign-in page. If you haven't created an account yet, you need to click up the sign-up link and put all of your information in. I've already done that. So now you're going to type in your username followed by your password. Okay, we've done that, and now we're going to log in. After signing in, you'll see three main tabs, and these tabs are My Recipes. These are the recipes that the user has favorited. Next is the Explore tab. These are all the recipes in the database, and then it actually will be sorted by the recommender system. That's how they will be ordered. And then finally, we have a messages tab. Just to show how we are able to read and select from the database, this My Recipes tab is driven by a favorites table, so this image and its associated ID is pulled from the table, and then when you double click on this image, you can pull up the actual recipe itself and some details about that, and finally a personalized note from the user. So as I mentioned, the next tab is the Explore tab, and this tab pulls all of the recipes from the recipes table. In the future, it will be driven by a recommender system, which will order the recipes that the system recommends to that particular user. But for now, we're pulling all recipes ordered by the recipe ID. And what it's doing here is it's pulling the main image and the ID of the recipes and showing and displaying them on this page. Like the My Recipes tab, you can double click or tap on an image and open up the details about the recipe, which shows a link, the name of the recipe, a summary, and then a note if you've favorited the recipe. And here we haven't actually favorited this one yet, so there's no note here. Okay, let's try favoriting a recipe. So we're going to click on this heart, and what this heart does is it inserts this recipe ID and a user ID into the favorites table. And now when we go to the My Recipes tab, you can indeed see that the pork and black bean stew has been favorited. Okay, so we've favorited this recipe, and that's why there's a colored in heart here. And so this recipe is in the favorites table. Now let's try deleting this recipe from the favorites table. So we will unheart it, unfavorite. Okay? Now we go back to the My Recipes tab. The pork and black bean stew is no longer there. I will say that on the Explore tab, the pork and black bean stew will still show up because we've deleted the record from the favorites table, but we actually haven't deleted the recipe itself, which should be expected by the user of this application. Okay, in this next section, I'm going to show you how we're updating records in the database. So here we have the New Brunswick lobster casserole, and we're going to favorite it. Now let's open up My Recipes, and we're going to see the New Brunswick lobster casserole in here. And we're also going to see an empty section for notes. So right now in the notes table, there's no record here. So let's first just do an insertion into this table for the key of user ID and recipe ID combined. This looks pretty good. Okay, so that's the first time, it's the insertion. Now let's go back. You can see it says this looks pretty good. And let's try to update this. So, okay, I love eating lobster. Okay, so now this updates the record in the database. And you can see that it says I love eating lobster here. To power the Explore page, we plan to use a hybrid ML model to recommend recipes to users. The recommendation will be based on content metadata such as recipe category, cooking time, nutrition, frequent ingredients. Natural language processing techniques will be used on frequent keywords from the summary comments section as well. User actions and context will be taken into account, such as favorited recipes and shared recipes and access times. The challenge is to leverage this massive amount of text data as well as user comments via machine learning and natural language processing, as well as content metadata and user context. To power the Messages tab, we will be creating a messaging system. We're going to use MongoDB to power our chat functionality, providing a NoSQL backend for our social communication to other users of the application.